All right. Hello, world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where your time zone is. Welcome to the 262 or 62nd episode of Free International Webinar brought to you by the Institute of Global Professionals or IGP. And we are coming to you live via StreamYard on Facebook and YouTube platform. Thank you all folks for finding time and joining tonight's or today's webinar. Before we get started, allow me to acknowledge some of our eager beaver participants from our YouTube account and Facebook account. Okay, for our YouTube account, we've got, allow me to say, shout out to Mary Jane Espirito, Alex Javier Alvarez, Tess Rivera, James Family, Jessa F. Purcell, we've got Tess Nesperos Rivera, all right? And from our Facebook account, allow me to say shout out to Surepsen Zizet, all right? I hope I got it right. And then we've got Danny Serso, we have Edith Mariano Abluyen, and Ria Mari Robas. All right, those are our eager beaver participants who were able to join and log in our Facebook and YouTube channel just before the webinar start. All right. So thank you so much, guys, for making IGP a part of your night or your day. All right. My name is Gafoor M. Panimbang, an assistant professor from Adyong Memorial Polytechnic State College here in Lanao del Sur, Philippines, and one of the regular hosts of the Institute of Global Professionals webinar series. And I am so deeply honored to be your host for tonight's or today's session. For everybody's information, the Institute of Global Professionals, or IGP, is an ISO certified training institute and a globally recognized, multi awarded international professional organization that provides free online and offline learning platforms for education and skills training for students and professionals alike, backed by international speakers and coaches from all over the world. We are a nonprofit training institute dedicated to making it possible for anyone to learn anything and anywhere for free online at any subject level. True to our mantra, feed your skill, it is our mission to empower people by providing an overall learning experience that meets your needs and help you to achieve your life goals. We believe that free education, more than anything, has the power to break through boundaries and transform lives. Now then, I will quickly go through some points to note so you'll have a seamless webinar experience. In order not to disturb the course of the webinar, please communicate via chat message. All right? We will address some questions from our live audience as we will leave a time for Q&A session at the end or at the end part of this webinar. You guys can submit text questions by typing them in the chat box below. You may send in your text questions at any time during the presentation, and we will collect those questions and hold them for the Q&A session at the end of tonight's or today's event. We will bring your questions up on the screen for the speakers to respond, and we will get through as many questions as time permits. Throughout the presentation, you will see a couple of questions pop up on your screen that would allow you guys to get engaged with us while the presentation is going on. And we appreciate you guys answering those questions coming in. Today's or tonight's session is being recorded to be available for viewing post conference on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. That's Institute of Global Professionals. We are using our FB page and our YouTube account to store webinar recordings and make them available for public viewing. After this session, we will be posting this recorded webinar on our YouTube channel for you to watch a replay in case you want to review anything. And we welcome you to revisit the content yourself and share it with your colleagues. It would also be greatly appreciated if you could hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell for you to get notified every time we upload a new webinar video every single day. If you guys stay till the end of this webinar, you will get a link to download your ISO verified e-certificate free of charge, courtesy of the Institute of Global Professionals. The link will be provided as pinned post down in the comment section below shortly before the webinar ends. However, as of the moment, we regret to remind everyone that our website is currently undergoing a maintenance. Downloading your e-certificate as of the moment is not as seamless as anticipated. However, our team is doing its best to restore the system back to normal state. Just keep the certificate code yourself as you can still download your e-certificate as soon as the maintenance is successfully done. Just keep in touch with us for further announcement. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience you may have experienced and appreciate your patience while we work diligently to resolve any outstanding issues. Your continued support is appreciated. All right. We're so excited also to invite everyone to be part of our exciting and interactive online quiz game competition happening after the speaker's presentation. And if you wish to join with the quiz game competition as player, all you have to do, guys, is just go to slido.com using your own device and browser. And once you get there, you will see a window asking you to type in the event code. Just simply type in the event code and press enter, and you're good to go. The event code, by the way, will be posted on the screen just before the competition begins. So please do hang out for that. Lucky top 10 players who would have the most correct answers and fastest response time will receive a quiz completion certificate, again, courtesy of the Institute of Global Professionals. If you guys believe this program is beneficial to you, then why don't you help your friends to discover this free webinar? Feel free to share this program on your social media communities and suggest it to your family members, friends, and colleagues you care about so they can benefit from these programs too. We also invite you guys to leave us a comment, share us your thoughts, and give us thumbs up. If you have not yet joined the IGP, please consider joining in. It's totally free, and IGP offers many benefits to you guys. And if you're interested in becoming a member of IGP, please feel free to reach out directly using our website. That's www.eduigp.com. And we would be so happy to welcome you on board and be part of our growing international professional community. All right. So tonight or today, we are presenting a topic that is so relevant to our academicians out there as we bring you a webinar entitled Blended Pedagogy. All right. And we are so fortunate to have invited somebody from India to share with us her expertise on the subject matter. So, without further ado, I would now like to welcome our lone speaker for tonight or today. She's actually a leader and strategist in the education management industry that makes her so relevant for the topic that she'll be delivering to us. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here to share her knowledge on the topic blended pedagogy. Please help me welcome Ma'am Shanley Ray on the show.
Hello and a very
Hello.
good evening, good
Yes, good
afternoon,
evening,
good night.
ma'am. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure having you here. All right.
And for me also, it's a great pleasure to be in this platform and hosting
Live.
my first
Yes,
webinar over
I
here.
see. All right. So before you get straight to the content of your presentation, I wonder if you could share to our live audience just a few facts about your short biography.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, I am an educationist for almost 20 years and
All
currently
right.
working as principal of a school in Bengal, in India. Apart from that, I am a master trainer, an author, and a keynote speaker too. And occasionally, I have been invited in various international and national events as a keynote speaker. Apart from that, I have co-authored various books, and my articles has been published in international journals too. Mm, I am recipient of several prestigious international awards too. Uh, to name a few, the Dr. Sarojini Naidu International Award for Working Women and Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan International Award, then Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam International Award for Excellence. So several prestigious awards also I have won. So today I think the latest trend is blended pedagogy after the COVID situation has been created. So all of a sudden, the total education system has been transferred into online mode. So I will be discussing the because as a principal, as an edu leader, I am practicing this blended mode of learning for the last 1.5 years, and the insights of this mode of learning, which is the future of the education industry actually. I'll be discussing quite detailed. So those
All
who are
right.
present over here, they will get to know the details about how it can be implemented in proper way, what are the pros and cons, that means advantages and disadvantages, and what is the future of blended pedagogy. So I think it will be beneficial for all the educationists and the students too in future. So let me start my presentation. Am I?
Sure. Yes, the floor
Okay,
is yours now, Ma'am Shanley Ray.
sure. Okay. So let me first explain what is blended pedagogy. So blended pedagogy is an approach to education that combines online educational materials and opportunities for interaction online with traditional place-based classroom methods. It requires the physical presence of both teacher and student, with some elements are digitalized. While students still attend brick and mortar schools with a teacher present, face to face classroom practices are combined with computer mediated activities regarding content and delivery. Blended pedagogy is also used in professional development and training settings. The goal is not to complement to or replace conventional learning styles, but rather to incorporate necessary changes to make the educational path for learners more effective and personalized. So we can see that blended pedagogy is a mixture of the traditional classroom method as well as some part online or e-learning or digitalized. Yeah. Next, we'll know about the history. So there are various terminologies also used for in place of blended pedagogy. We can use blended learning, then hybrid learning, then technology mediated instruction, web enhanced instruction, and mixed mode instruction. These are other terms that we can use in place of blended pedagogy. Although the concepts behind blended learning first developed in the 1960s, the formal terminology to describe it did not take its current form until the late 1990s. One of the earliest uses of the term appears in a 1999 press release in which the Interactive Learning Centers, an Atlanta based education business, announced a change of name to Epic Learning into Blended Learning. So, this was the first official use of the term blended learning. In 2006, the term became more concrete with the publication of the first handbook of blended learning by Bonk and Graham. Graham defined blended learning systems as learning systems that combine face to face instruction with computer mediated instruction. Okay, so this is the history of blended pedagogy. Now we will get to know in details about some important terminologies that is used while delivering the blended mode of learning. So first is digital badge. As it has been already announced that you will be getting an e-certificate. So that is also a kind of digital badge. So whenever you are completing any course or attending any webinar, you are sorry you are getting one digital badge. Next is educational technology. Use of technology in education to improve learning and teaching. That is called educational technology. So educational technology, now we can call as edutech or edtech, is the combined use of computer hardware, software, and educational theory and practice to facilitate learning. When referred to with its abbreviation EdTech, it is often referring to the industry of companies that create educational technology. So these days, when we talk about EdTech, we generally refer to the educational companies or industries that provide us solution regarding online education. In addition to practice, educational experience, educational technology is based on theoretical knowledge from various disciplines such as communication, education, psychology, sociology, artificial intelligence, and computer science. It encompasses several domains, including learning theory, computer based training, online learning, AIM learning, where mobile technologies are used. So, all these combinations are called educational technology. Next is the flipped classroom. So these type of classroom has emerged once we have started using blended mode of learning or blended pedagogy in various organizations. So here how it works: instructional strategy delivering instructional content outside of the classroom and other related activities into the classroom. A flipped classroom is an instructional strategy and a type of blended learning which aims to increase student engagement and learning by having pupils complete readings at home and work on live problem solving during the class time. The USSR was the first country to propose and implement a flipped classroom. These pedagogical style moves activities, including those that may have traditionally been considered homework, into the classroom. So it is flipped. Flipped means it's been now, earlier we used to do the homework at home and the other classworks in the class. But now the students will learn the chapter at home and do the homework in the classroom. With a flipped classroom, students watch online lectures, collaborate in online discussions, or carry out research at home while actively engaging concepts in the classroom with a mentor's guidance. So, all the project works, collaborative works, these are performed in the classroom. The flipped classroom intentionally shifts instruction to a learner centered model in which students are often initially introduced to new topics outside of school, freeing up classroom time for the exploration of topics in greater depth, creating meaningful learning opportunities. With a flipped classroom, content delivery may take a variety of forms, often featuring video lessons prepared by the teacher or third parties. Although online collaborative discussions, digital research, and text readings may alternatively be used. The ideal length of a video lesson is widely cited as 8 to 12 minutes. So these are the various online modes where those students basically learn about the new topic, and then all the exploration is done in the classroom. So here is the traditional classroom method where the lecture is given in the class and homeworks and other activities students used to do in the home. But in flipped classroom, lecture is given through online mode and classroom activities involves all other discussions and project works and everything, all activities. Next term is instructor-led training. Any training that occurs in a training room, typically in an office, classroom, or conference room, that is called instructor-led training. ILT is the practice of training and learning material between an instructor and learners. That means whichever training we get, be it in school, college, universities, professional training, everything is instructor led training. Okay. Instructors may deliver training in a lecture or classroom format as an interactive workshop, as a demonstration with the opportunity for learners to practice, or even virtually using video conferencing tools. And the instructor may have facilitation and teaching skills in which they can use different methods to engage learners and embrace different learning styles. So we can see that instructions can be delivered in variety of modes. Other learning delivery methods include e-learning, which delivers self-paced courses online, and blended learning, which mixes instructor-led and e-learning elements. So these days, the e-learning elements is most popular, where students can learn through their own pace. Next term is AIM learning, distance education using mobile device technology is called AIM learning. Mobile learning is learning across multiple contexts through social and content interactions using personal electronic devices. So we'll all these days use our own personal mobile and learn various topics whichever we find beneficial for us. Okay. A form of distance education, AIM users use mobile device educational technology at their convenient time. AIM learning technologies include handheld computers, MP3 players, notebooks, mobile phones, and tablets. So these are the devices where we can learn through AIM learning. So here's a chart. AIM learning, which are the process convenient, why it is beneficial, convenient, and easy access. Just in time learning. So whichever part you desire, you need to learn. Then bite-sized modules. The modules are divided into small portions for the beneficial of the students. Next, contextual and informal and application oriented. So that is why AIM learning is becoming more popular these days. Now there is a difference between what do you mean by instructor-led training and e-learning. Words and picture. In case of instructor-led training, slides with images and trainer script. So when the instructor or trainer is delivering, they use their own slides. Like I am now delivering my presentation using my own slides. And e-learning, images with dot points and audio. So when my this presentation will be uploaded in an online mode, like in IGP platform, suppose, then everybody can access that. So that will be the e-learning mode. Next is animation. Animation embedded in the instructor's slide pack, and here embedded in the e-learning course. Next, quizzes, test, question answer sheets. So while the instruction is providing instruction in the classroom, generally pen and paper mode are used for assessment, and in e-learning, online quiz is used. Next, software demos, defined live demos to perform, and screen recordings with audio. So when in the classroom, face-to-face classroom, there are live demonstration. Sometimes the students are being also involved. And here in online mode, screen recording has been done. Next is software exercises, defined exercises, instruction, and simulations. So there are particular instructions that are given, and here the wide range, because students can find out other topic related other facts also from internet. Okay, next is media psychology. This is another very important term. It is the branch and specialty field in psychology that focuses on the interaction of human behavior with media and technology. So, psychology is interaction of human behavior, and when it is combined with media and technology, we will call it media psychology. So, media psychology is not limited to mass media or media content. It includes all forms of mediated communication and media technology related behaviors, such as the use, design, impact, and sharing behaviors. This branch is a relatively new field of study because of advancement in technology. It uses various methods of critical analysis and investigation to develop a working model of a user's perception on media experience. So, suppose someone is delivering an online mode of instruction. So, after that, how the viewers or the audience behaving, based on that the perception is being created. So these methods are used for society as a whole and on an individual basis. Media psychologists are able to perform activities that include consulting, design, and production in various media like television, video games, films, and news broadcasting. So the companies first study through media psychology what is the trend the customers require, and accordingly all the advertisements are shown on various online modes. Next come mixed reality, merging of real and virtual worlds to produce new environment. That is called mixed reality or MR. This is also an emerging new term. This is merging of real and virtual worlds to produce new environments and visualizations. So earlier we have seen either virtual platform or real platform. Now both are merged with each other to produce a new platform where physical and digital objects coexist and interact in real time. Mixed reality does not exclusively take place in either the physical world or virtual world, but is a hybrid of reality and virtual world. There are many practical applications of mixed reality, including design, entertainment, military training, and remote working. There are also different display technologies used to facilitate the interaction between users and mixed reality applications. So, how it works? This is the conventional reality, and in computer we find the perception, and this is our normal environment. In mixed reality, human computer interaction, all these are mixed together, and then we can enjoy a completely new environment. Next there is about media psychology. So what is psychology? Is the study of human behavior, emotions, and cognitions, and media includes all forms of mediated communications. So when we are combining both of these, we are getting media psychology. Practitioners and scholars across many fields are coming together now to study and do research on media psychology, because these days continually changing in response to emerging technology. We can find that new technologies are developing after every few days. So how the human behavior is also changing accordingly, that is the main criteria of research for media psychology. Now there are immersive technology. We have already discussed about mixed reality, that is AMR. There are two other type of reality, that is virtual reality, fully artificial environment which were used earlier, and augmented reality or AR, that is virtual objects overlaid on real world environment. Like augmented technology, using it the medical trainings are done very much. And for virtual reality, PlayStation is an example. And for mixed reality, one recent development, that is Microsoft HoloLens, that is an example of mixed reality, where the holograms are being shown through media reality. Now we will be knowing about networked learning. So it is a process of developing and maintaining connections with people and information and communicating in such a way so as to support one another's learning. The central term in this definition is connections. So networking means connections. So there should be a my personal networking of how I will learn things. I may communicate with my peers, or I may communicate through social media, or I may prefer to study online at my own self mode. So these are all coming in networked learning. It adopts a relational stance in which learning takes place both in relation to others and in relation to learning resources. In design and practice, networked learning is intended to facilitate evolving sets of connections between learners and their interpersonal communities, knowledge contexts, and digital technologies. So it's entirely dependent upon the learners, how they will network about their learning opportunities. Next is synchronous learning. Type of learning event refers to a learning event in which a group of students are engaging in learning at the same time. Suppose now, those who are watching this show, all of you are synchronous learners, because all of you are learning the same thing that I am delivering, and together from sitting at different parts of the world. So this is synchronous learning. Before learning technology allowed for synchronous learning environments, most online education took place through asynchronous learning methods. Since synchronous tools that can be used for education have become available, many people are turning to them as a way to help decrease the challenges associated with transactional distance that occurs in online education. Several case studies found that students are able to develop a sense of community over online synchronous communication platforms. So, when doing synchronous learning, students feel more connected. They can discuss things about the issues that they are facing and all, rather than studying alone at different timing. While many online educational programs started out as and with the advent of web conferencing tools, people can learn at the same time in different places as well. For example, use of instant messaging or live chat, like you are doing now, live chat. So, this way you can put your questions or inquiry while learning. Webinars, video conferencing allow for students and teachers to collaborate and learn in real time. So, synchronous learning is the latest trend. Now, here is a chart of how personal learning network occurs. So suppose you are learning something, so you have various options like peers with common interest. You can discuss with peers, expertise and authoritative sources. So you can discuss with some expertise. Then knowledge building tools are there. Automated knowledge building tools can help you know about various facts. Communication tools are there. Learning communities are there, like IGB is a learning community. So they are broadcasting various topics to learn for the students. Next, information and data resources and online tutoring and guided courses. So there are also online tutoring options available these days, and also guided courses where you can learn and get the guided video uploaded to know more details about any topic. Next, there are Some options that synchronous learning activities include: build community and relationships. Next is lead interactive modeling sessions. Next, differentiate instruction of small groups. So if we restrict the group wise participation, then we can interact with small groups and deliver the lessons. Personalize instruction and provide coaching. So if it is for one person and if it is personalized, then it is up to the level of that person how the material will be delivered. Next is guide practice and application, facilitate real time conversations like through live chat. Every time the students are interacting, that comes as real time conversations. Foster collaboration among students. So this is a very much collaborative mode of learning where you can share your knowledge with your peers and real time feedback on working progress. So you can directly through live chat share your feedback too. So this is the synchronous learning activities, and it is so much beneficial and important these days. Now, asynchronous learning activities which were used before this blended pedagogy mode of learning been come into reality. So earlier, the face-to-face or classroom mode, there were read and take notes, then watch video-based instruction, listen to podcast. So all these doesn't always collaborate. So we do all these things whenever we feel like at our free time, like, or whenever we feel we need to do or learn something. That is, this is individual learning process. Explore teacher curated resources. So online various modes of learning are available. So at our free time or whenever we feel the necessity, we explore all this. Engage in online discussions. So, in social media, sometimes we chat with our peers. So, that is also asynchronous because not all the students are accumulated at the same time in chat. Next, practice and review that pen and paper system, research and explore. So we often go visit the library and do the research work, and reflect plus document learning. So continuously taking notes and trying to memorize things, that is reflect and document learning. So all these are asynchronous. That means not all the students are involved together. Next, there are more differences. Student synchronous means students learn at the same time. Communications happens in real time, possibly more engaging and effective, allows for instant feedback and clarification, like video conferencing, live chat, live streamed videos. And asynchronous, students learn at different times. Communication is not live, possibly more convenient and flexible, allows students to work at their own pace. Example: email, screencast, Flipgrid videos, blog post, comments, all these are synchronous. So, in details, if we know about asynchronous definition, it is a general term used to describe forms of education, instruction, and learning that do not occur in the same place at the same time. It uses resources that facilitate information sharing outside the constraints of time and place among a network of people. In many instances, well constructed asynchronous learning is based on constructivist theory, a student centered approach that emphasizes the importance of peer to peer interaction. So, that is how we do in classrooms. face-to-face classroom where peer-to-peer interactions or interaction with a trainer or teacher happens. So this approach combines self-study with asynchronous interactions to promote learning, and it can be used to facilitate learning in traditional on-campus education as well as distance education and continuing education. This combined network of learners and the electronic network in which they communicate are referred to as an asynchronous learning network. Now will come virtual university. So this is also a relatively new term, university that provides higher education programs through electronic media. So after the pandemic situation, these virtual universities are more often we get to know about. So typically the internet is the source of virtual university. Some are bricks and mortar institutions that provide online learning as part of their extended university courses, while others solely offer online courses. They are regarded as a form of distance education. The goal of virtual universities is to provide access to the part of the population who would not be able to attend a physical campus for reasons such as distance, in which students live too far from a physical campus to attend regular classes, and the need for flexibility. Some students need the flexibility to study at home whenever it is convenient for them to do so. Program delivery in a virtual university is administered through information and communication technology such as web pages, email, and other network sources. So it's beneficial for basically those who stay in remote corners and cannot attend. But through virtual university, now we can attend all the online courses wherever we are sitting in the world. Now there are 21st century literacy skills. These skills has come into existence in the 21st century learning system because there are certain skills. This term coined by the National Council of Teachers of English to describe the social nature of learning that is supported by the ability to collaborate using digital technologies in learning. So these are particular skills that has come into existence when we are more prominent in using digital learning. So these new literacies are described as skills students will need for the society in which they will work, including strong communication and collaboration skills, expertise in technology, innovative and creative thinking skills, and an ability to solve problems. So, if we are converting into more digital or blended pedagogy mode, then we all the students need to develop these 21st century literacy skills to work in their favor so that in later life they can uh, have a successful working place. This set of skills and understandings will prepare the workforce or citizens for a changing interconnected world. We can see the world is gradually changing at a very fast mode. So to adjust, to cope up with the changing situation, we need to develop this 21st century literacy skill. These literacies are dynamic due to the ability to be linked to one another. So these skills, if we cannot develop in a proper way, we will lag behind while the changing mode will occur in the society as well as in learning system. So according to NCTE, active successful participants in this 21st century global society must be able to, so what are the benefits? develop proficiency and fluency with the tools of technology. Next, build intentional cross cultural connections and relationships with others. So, to pose and solve problems collaboratively and strengthen independent thought. So, now we can see that globalization is happening at a rapid pace because of the online or virtual mode of learning or interaction. So we have to build that intentional cross-cultural connections and relationships to become successful in our future life. Design and share information for global communities to meet a variety of purposes. Next, manage, analyze, and synthesize multiple streams of simultaneous information. So, these days, multitasking is another term which is very much beneficial for anyone who want to succeed in future, because we have to gather information from various sources, analyze it, and then have to use it according to our personal needs. Next, create, critique, analyze, and evaluate multimedia texts. So we have to be tech savvy to know about the learning structure, attend to the ethical responsibilities required by these complex environments. So now we can see how rapidly the whole society, the economy, the environment, everything is changing. So we need to cope up with that change. And for that, we need to develop the 21st century literacy skills. Now we will come to the various models of blended learning. Basically, there are six types of models that of blended learning that are used not only in schools, college, universities, but also for professional developments in various organizations. So these are face-to-face driver, rotation, flex model, online lab, self blend, and online driver. So these are the four types of models generally been used in blended learning mode. Now we will know details about each models. First is face to face driver, where the teacher drives the instruction and augments with digital tools. The face to face driver model is a type of blended learning in which technology is used alongside traditional teaching to increase success in educational outcomes. Face to face classroom teaching is the main mode of delivery in this model, but technology is used to supplement learning. So, the traditional mode along with some part being delivered in digital mode. So that is what face to face driver. Now is rotation. Students cycle through a schedule of independent online study and face to face classroom time. So that is called the rotation mode. So there will be distinct timing for both the mode. The rotation model of learning involves the traditional face to face learning with online learning. In this, the time schedule is divided and fixed between these two processes. So, these are fixed timing, how much or how long the student will attend face to face classroom and how long they will attend the online mode of learning. The classroom kids usually monitors both the face-to-face and online learning, and the online learning takes place on a one-to-one basis. Students rotate across online learning, small group instruction, and pencil pen assignments. So, suppose when we are going for in the school or college or university, we are going for the online classroom, the face to face classroom mode, and after that going to demonstrate the practical session. So we have fixed periods for that. Whichever subjects in science subject, we have fixed period for practical classes and theoretical classes. So that is called rotational methods. These rotational methods have four submodels. First is station rotation, a rotation model in which for a given course or the subject, the student rotate on a fixed schedule or at teacher's discretion, one online learning station to another. That means, like the way I have mentioned, there are fixed periods in school, college, or university for theoretical and practical classes. So that is station rotation. And next, flipped classroom model. Already we have discussed the flipped classroom. So the students rotate on a fixed schedule or at a teacher's discretion across the classroom learning and online learning after the school hours. So basically, the topic has been delivered online and the activities are done in the classes. So that is flipped classroom model. Next, individual rotation model. In this rotation model, the teacher sets individual timing for the students for rotation among different learning modalities. So, suppose one student is lagging behind in a particular subject, suppose in science subject. So, the teacher fixes particular timing for or some extra timings for that particular student, and that is called individual rotation model. Rather than managing the whole group in the same way. So, whichever student is lagging behind in whichever part, particularly that part is delivered to the particular student, and not the whole class or the whole group of students are delivered the same model. Next is lab rotation model. The student rotates to a brick and mortar computer lab for online learning station. That is, here they rotate between face to face sessions and computer labs for online training. This is basically for computer classes. So, in school, college, university, what happens? We attend the theoretical class and then we are provided individually one computer to do the practical. So that is lab rotation model. Next, blended learning model is online labs. All of the curriculum is delivered via a digital platform but in a consistent physical location. Students usually take traditional classes in this model as well. This is different from strictly online learning in that students gather in a traditional setting to access the computers. However, no face to face teachers are required. So, students come to the campus and in the computer, certain modules are prefixed which they can watch and gather knowledge. So, here they do not require the teachers to assist them. Next is self blend. Students choose to augment their traditional learning with online coursework. Students take online courses in addition to their traditional face to face learning. Students follow this approach because it gives them the freedom to supplement what they have learned and what they have been taught in class. The self-blend model of learning is generally approached by the students opting to take online courses outside of the time they spend on traditional courses. So, if a student wants extra knowledge about any topic, they can always search internet to get that extra knowledge. That is self-blend. Online driver, students complete an entire course through an online platform with possible teacher check-ins. All curriculum and teaching is delivered via a digital platform and face to face meetings are scheduled or made available if necessary. The online driver model relies on technology as the primary means of delivering course materials. The online driver model offers immense flexibility because teachers and students can work from their homes in different countries or anywhere else with an internet connection at any time. It may also reduce the costs associated with education because the need for physical space and resources is reduced. So, online courses these days are very much popular, and sometimes there are fixed timings to interact with the instructor also. Next is implementation. What are the procedure or proper ways to implement blended pedagogy in an institution? It is important to note that even blended learning models can be blended together, and many implementations use some, many, or even all of these as dimensions of larger blended learning strategy. So we have just known about six models. So we can use one individual model, or we can blend two three models together and apply. There are many components that can comprise a blended learning model, including instructor deliver content, e learning, webinars, conference calls, live or online sessions with instructors, and other media events, example, Facebook, email, chat rooms, blogs, podcasting, Twitter, YouTube, Skype, web boards. So, all these are blended mode of learning. When implementing a blended learning program using the acronym SMART as a guideline for developing goals and objectives can ensure that the elements of the goals are SMART means specific, measurable, agreed upon, realistic, timely. So, when we will set up a blended mode of learning, we have to think about this SMART as our guideline. While there are some variations on what some of the letters can mean, these five guides are effective for blended learning. The amount of funding available to spend on implementing a blended learning program is likely to have a strong effect on what organizations may be able to do. Being specific about where money will be spent and will be saved will help keep a balanced budget from the start. So nowadays, as the institutions are going opting for blended mode, we have to think about the budget, which part is mostly essential for our organization. Accordingly, we will do the implementation. Not that whatever is trending, we will do. So that is how we can save money on that. Next, funding for blended learning. So, if any organization or institution is going for the learning mode, they need some funds to apply all the technologies and everything. So, how can we gather funds? First is strategies and sources of funding for blended learning solutions can include reallocating existing funds, generating new funds, and recognizing ways blended learning can make the most of existing funds. So, in an organization or institute, we will always think about whatever our existing fund is, that is from where we need to do the funding. So, accordingly, that is what is being explained. If we will focus on the particular mode that is required, not whatever in trend. By gradually phasing to new changes in technology, the transition to a blended learning environment can be more manageable and more affordable. For example, budgeting for one new computer to coincide with seasonal clearance sales can help increase the number of computers in the classroom gradually and at a lower cost. So, if we need to use the blended mode, we obviously will need computers. So we can look for where seasonal sales are going on. So from there, we can gradually buy one or two computer and change into or apply the technology. Then again, after a few months, we can buy some other from somewhere else, like this, gradually shifting. That will not being high on the budget. Next is the cost of technology can be balanced out by savings in materials and instructors. So, in place of hiring two, three instructor, we can implement by delivering the materials online and through one instructor. So that way also we will save money. Many of the programs that require monthly or annual subscription fees can be eliminated based on a review of which software is being utilized and which is redundant. For instance, many programs that charge a fee may have similar programs available for free download. So we have to do a lot of research to find out that programs which are free, we can opt for those programs to save money or budget. One way to offset the cost is by implementing user fees for technology the organization has purchased. So, suppose we have developed a new technology based material, so we can opt for a nominal fee from the students or from the employees or those who are using that to maintain the cost of that software or that technology. Now we will know about some of the best practices in blended pedagogy. If we get the best out of the blended learning, we need to follow certain trends. So first, when thinking about the design of a blended learning model, teachers and administrators should consider flexibility, scheduling, and learning methods that are appropriate for their community. So, accordingly, the blended learning model should be developed. Data analysis and monitoring is important in blended learning. Teachers must be aware of student development so they can offer extra assistance or enrichment when needed. They should be able to tailor the lessons to individual student based on their growth. So, there should have been proper monitoring and data analysis how each and every individual student is performing so that accordingly the learning modules can be scheduled. The focus should be on improving learning outcomes. An improved learning process should contribute to the increased productivity and performance of different learners. So that should be the focus, ki how the productivity and performance are ultimately increasing by the students. Next is maintain a balance between online and on-site learning. When it is beneficial, take time out to offer on-site training, perhaps to introduce new changes or developments in the learning curriculum. Next, students come from different backgrounds and they may or may not be familiar with blended learning. Make it more personalized. So, that is why you need to balance the on site training also so that each student gather knowledge about proper utilization of blended learning. Take a collaborative learning approach for increased engagement. Collaboration is critical to learning as it helps students brainstorm and develop new ideas. So, whenever possible, collaborative online learning mode should be applied. Next, advances of blended pedagogy. So, blended instruction is reportedly more effective than purely face to face or purely online classes. Next, Advantage: blended learning methods can also result in high levels of student achievement, more than face to face learning, because students get to visualize the things, they can use the auditory method. So, that is how various methods are applicable for students to gather knowledge. By using a combination of digital instruction and one-on-one face time, students can work on their own with new concepts, which frees teachers who can now streamline their instruction to help all students reach their full potential. So, through blended mode, as by online learning, students themselves can learn a lot of things, so they can free up the teachers, and the teachers can utilize that time to develop the students part which they think are needs more attention. Next is the use of information and communication technologies have been found to improve students' attitudes towards learning. So, the more technology based learning is becoming more interesting for the students also. Next is blended learning also has the potential to reduce educational expenses by putting classrooms in the online space, and it essentially replaces pricey textbooks with electronic devices. So that is how it is one of the most beneficial option. Blended learning often includes software that automatically collects student data and measures academic progress, providing teachers, students, and parents detailed students' data. So these are the edtech solutions which are coming up these days. Blended learning allows students to work at their own pace, making sure they fully understand new concepts before moving on. An online platform that contains various types of learning material, such as videos, ebooks, lectures, presentations, can be used to track individual progress more effectively. So, students can choose their own way of learning through blended learning mode, which they find interesting. So, that is how their final achievement also becomes more visible. Blended learning provides students a perfect approach. With different modes of learning, everyone can benefit in one way or another and take advantage of the provided opportunities to learn and grow. Because we can see so many modes of learning are available through blended learning mode. So somehow everybody get beneficial. It is also one of the most effective ways for personalized learning at scale. So this is one of the most important benefit of blended learning. Personalized learning. It can better prepare students to feel confident navigating the different components and developing a stronger sense of independence. Blended learning yielded positive results from the online community. This virtual learning environment helps connect teachers with students without physically being present. So, that is how we can maintain the social distancing. The advantages of blended learning are dependent on the quality of the programs being implemented. Some indicators of excellent blended learning programs are facilitating student learning, communicating ideas effectively, demonstrating an interest in learning, organizing effectively, showing respect for students, and assessing progress fairly. So, these must be properly utilized for a quality blended learning module. With blended learning, online platforms become a part of the learning process. Students can find plenty of opportunities to communicate with the instructor and their team members through the dashboard and other built in communication tools. So we can find that various communication tools are available in blended learning. So whenever the student feel like, they can communicate. There is no fixed timing for that. Now we'll come to disadvantages. So there is always pros and cons of every implementation. So what are the cons or disadvantage? The setup cost of developing and implementing a blended learning approach can be high, including the cost of ownership of an online platform. So we have to, that is why I have discussed how to fund the blended learning procedure. It is necessary to have a reliable tech support team on board that can also train the staff. If we do not have proper team who knows technology well, we cannot handle blended learning modes. Otherwise, instead of helping, the new system can become challenging for both trainers and students. If trainers misinterpret the purpose of an online platform, the density of the material can be distracting and even demotivating for employees or students. Okay, so this should be, that is how I have discussed, there should be quality training materials. Otherwise, it may get distracted for the students or employees. Unless successfully planned and executed, blended learning could have disadvantages in technical aspects. The tools need to be reliable, easy to use, and up to date. So, that is the most practical purpose, to use the technical tools in proper way. Digital literacy can serve as a significant barrier for students attempting to get access to the course materials, making the availability of high quality technical support paramount. So, if students are not properly digitally literate, they cannot handle the online mode. Blended learning can be challenging in group work because of difficulties with management in an online setting. So, sometimes in big workplaces, if we want to give training through blended learning, so all the employees can has to be gathered together, that may come as a difficulty. The use of lecture recording technologies can result in students falling behind on the materials. So, what happens sometimes, those students do not follow the lectures that are pre recorded in proper way, or sometimes they tend to attend all the lectures at one time of the day. So, this way they could not get through the material. It has been noted that providing effective feedback is more time consuming and therefore more expensive when electronic media are used in comparison to traditional paper based assessment. So, if we think about pen and paper examination, that is easier than taking online examination and assessing. Using e-learning platforms can be more time consuming than traditional methods and can also come with new costs, as e-learning platforms and service providers may charge user fees to educators. So as I have discussed, there should be some cost for e-learning platforms, and that cost has to be borne by the institution applying that platform. Many students do not have pervasive and ubiquitous access to the internet even in their classroom. So many remote areas or rural areas, students do not get access to internet. In that clear case, blended pedagogy cannot be fully implemented. Implementing a new learning system in the workplace can be a challenge, as all staff members need to embrace the new approach to make it work. So, all of a sudden, 1 year ago, when we need to be online mode, that was completely a new dimension for us, a new challenge. for implementation. That is the disadvantage. Okay, now we'll get to know future of blended learning. As we have discussed, now the blended learning is the latest trend. And as the COVID situation is still not been fully recovered, and in future it has so many advantages over disadvantage, so all the institution will look forward implementing blended learning. So what is the future of blended learning? Some of the future trends in blended learning can make education even more accessible to students and more relevant as the digital age progresses. In fact, one of the mottos of blended learning is learn anywhere, learn anytime. So, this is the motto of blended learning. That is why it is gradually becoming popular, and blended learning is here to stay in future, because learning materials are always available on the web and on mobile devices. So, this is the most useful or beneficial learning mode in future. A hybrid of in-person lessons and distance learning, blended learning is one of the many proposed models for the future of the technology assisted classroom. COVID 19 may be the key factor that pushes this model forward in schools worldwide. So, most of the institutions, not only schools but colleges, universities, are turning to the blended mode because of its more advantages. Blended learning allows teachers to use multiple learning activities to capture and retain students' attention. Even before the advent of technology, some aspects of blended learning were always in use. For example, students learned theory in classroom and had hands-on project or practical experience through workshops. And classroom learning was supplemented through additional reading materials in library. So these were also a type of blended learning earlier we used. We have already used this over the years or decades. But now only the difference is that blended learning, they have utilizing the digital mode of learning also. It is blended learning to reduce physical attendance in favor of video conferencing so as to create smaller groups that allow for appropriate social distancing. Because social distancing we have to maintain for few more years. In that case, blended learning is extremely beneficial and here to stay. In many blended learning environments, students are encouraged to bring their own smartphones, tablets, or computers. This has an acronym, Bring Your Own Devices, or BYOD. This BYOD system is getting popular where students can use their own uh, smart device and store the data. As more teachers and schools embrace blended learning environments, BYOD will become increasingly commonplace. Personalized blended learning that takes internet as an alternate to textbooks is the ideal compromise for a post-pandemic society. So as I have discussed, we need to maintain the decorum of pandemic for few more years. So post-pandemic society will prefer to use the blended mode of learning, and in this way, the future is in blended learning rather than the traditional classroom learning mode. So this is all about the blended learning mode. I hope it has been beneficial for all of you. And if you need any extra uh, topic or any extra notes or anything, you can contact me, mail me in shanoliray@gmail.com. And I have recently started one Facebook page that is still live. Here is the link. So you can always connect with me for all that. So, thank you, and I think it is beneficial for you all. Thank you. Pardon me, I'm not getting the voice.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
awfully sorry for that one.
Oh,
I
I thought
never
ki my
realized. I never realized my microphone was on mute. All right, so
thought ki
there you
may.
go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Mom Shanoli Ray in her extensive discussion on the blended learning modalities or the so-called blended pedagogy. All right. So we cannot thank you enough, Mom Ray, for that very awesome and informative presentation that you prepared for us tonight. And so, for that reason, the IGP would like to extend its appreciation and sincerest gratitude for taking time off of your busy schedule and joining us for tonight. All right. All right. Again,
As
we
because I always deal with students, so I I think if the students or anybody is beneficial from this webinar, so that will be the basic requirement
y-
these days.
yes, precisely. Actually, Ma'am Ray, you actually broaden our horizon and understanding on the nature and dynamics of what is blended pedagogy or blended learning. And I hope our live audience, especially among our teachers and students, can actually take into consider how are we going to integrate technology in our classroom, because we are now living in a new digital age and era wherein we are being forced to uh, let alone the emergence of this pandemic. So we have no choice but to find some ways on how we could deliver our lesson. We have to find ways to keep our education continue despite of
Continue, yeah.
the challenge that we are facing right now. And I got your word. It sounds like computer tech. We have to be computer tech savvy, internet tech savvy for us really to keep on continuing delivering the lesson, the knowledge, and everything for our students and children. All right. I also particularly interested in your discussion of the 21st century literary skills rather.
Yes,
I think this is both applicable to our teachers and students. Of course,
yes.
you can never
Otherwise,
affect
we cannot cope up with the changes that rapidly changing the society,
precisely.
economy, education sector. Everything is changing so rapidly. So, if we
Yes.
all need to cope up with this rapid change, we need to develop that 21st century skills or literacy skills, whatever. Maybe.
Yes. So the best thing we can do is to keep abreast with the fast changing technology. And then what I'm trying to point out is both teachers and the students have to cope up with the fast changing technology that we are having right now, because a teacher can actually, a teacher can never affect learning if she has limited knowledge when it comes to technology integration. All right. And then also, I hope the live audience, especially among our teachers who are in attendance tonight, already have this idea of the models of the blended pedagogy as you have just delivered. So they have now an idea on what strategy they are going to follow. Is it F to F, rotation, synchronous, as you're reclaiming, asynchronous and everything. And also thank you for the best practices that you have shared with us when it comes to blended pedagogy, and also for sharing with us the dark side. I mean the challenges of implementing this blended pedagogy. All right. So for that reason, on behalf of IGP, we are so grateful enough for that informative and interesting topic that you've shared with us for tonight, including our live audience. All right, Ma'am Ray.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
again, thank you so much. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Join me in thanking Ma'am Shanole Ray from India. All right.
Thank you, audience,
S-
also for
All
watching this
right.
show, live show.
All right. Okay. So at this juncture, or just a quick reminder, all right? If you have any question to our speaker for tonight, that's Ma'am Chanel Ray, just type it in the comment section below, and we will bring that up during the questions and answer portion after the uh, quiz game competition that is to follow, okay, in a little while, all right? And also before we begin with our online quiz game competition, allow me to congratulate Abigail Dioneda, all right, in appreciation for showing your continued support to IGP through your regular attendance in most of our webinar series conducted. And for that reason, IGP is pleased to award you its lifetime membership certificate for being a loyal follower. All right, so congratulations. All right, so are you ready, guys? We will now come to one of the most highlights of this webinar program. It's going to be the online quiz game competition. All right, so we're back with our online quiz game competition. All right, there you have it on the screen. Some of our live audience were able to log in and join with our online quiz game competition. As of this time, we've got 74 participants who were successfully joining in with our online or live quiz. All right, so I think we have to give you guys a minute or two to get settled, and then we'll get underway. All right, shout out to, all right, Cristobal Natividad. All right, we've got Mark, Justin A. Busa. All right, Alma Tragua, Mariena Takadina Danao, Romel Hernandez, Aldrin Ponce, Dennis M. Canonizado. All right, Lizel Gabaldon, Rosan Paclibar, Angelo Ray D, Janice Kachin, Marlita D. Nelo. All right. Who else? Maria Figuera, Mark Justine A. Busa. I think I have read that one. Romel Hernandez. All right. And also shout out to Ernelita Kitor Villanueva, Glenda Sergio Ojo or Ojo, Milani Omara. Thank you for joining in. Rose Ann. All right, so I think we have to start with our online quiz game competition. Now, displaying on the screen is the first question, and it says, blended pedagogy is an approach to blank. Is it education or hybrid? All right. In just a few seconds, Slido is going to tabulate your score. The answer is education. All right, majority of our participants got the correct answer. Congratulations. Mark Justine Busa, you are now leading the score for the first question. Okay, all right. Oh, I think we have a tie. All right, so let's now proceed with our question number two. Blended pedagogy combines both online and traditional blank modes. All right, is that classroom or education? What do you think, guys? Time is up, and Slido is now going to tabulate your answer. The correct answer, guys, is classroom. Congratulations. Why? Because most of you guys got the correct answer. All right. So you're doing a good job at this time. All right. So Firuz Akbarov this time is the top scorer. As you can notice, you have a tie score. Unfortunately, but for Firuz Akbarov, he spent just 6 seconds. All right, 6 seconds to submit his answer. So you have to be fast enough to submit your answer because that will be ranked by Slido. The term appears first in 1999 by Blind Education Business. Where is that? Is that in Atlanta based or Bang and Graham? The correct answer is Atlanta based, and 62% of our participants got the correct answer. Again, congratulations. You made it, guys. All right, so that's for number three question. And we are now about to proceed. All right, before that, Feruz Akbarov is still the top scorer, is still on the top of the list with 9 seconds. All right, consumed. Another term for blended learning is blank learning. Is it hybrid or education? I think the question is a bit difficult. Guys, you only have two options, meaning to say your probability of committing mistake is so minimal. 96 or majority among you guys said hybrid. Let's find out which one is the correct. It's hybrid, guys. It's hybrid. Congratulations. You got the correct answer. Firuz Akbarov is still on the top of the list with 11 seconds consumed in submitting his answer. All right. Now, the first handbook of blended learning was published by blank. Is it Bong and Graham or Atlanta based? Okay, please do submit your answer as fast as you can. That's how the Slido is going to rank you guys. It's not about score, but it's about how fast you can. Bong and Graham is the correct answer. All right, congratulations. 90% among you guys got the correct answer. Firuz Akbarov is still on the top of the list with 14 seconds. All right. I'm not counting the score now. As you can see, you have a tie score. I'm actually very particular with the time spent. All right. Blended instruction is reportedly more blank than purely face-to-face or what's going on? Okay, let's continue. Purely online classes. All right. Is it effective or ineffective? Majority, that's 91% of you guys said effective. And that's the correct answer. Again, congratulations. You are doing a good job. All right. Now let's go back to our dashboard and let's find out whether Akbarov is still on the top of the list. Still, Firuz Akbarov, okay, is the top scorer. Number 7 question. Blended learning also has the potential to blank educational expenses. Is it increase or decrease? What do you think, guys? All right, Slido, please reveal the correct answer. It's decrease. 49% of our live audience, all right, really got the correct answer. That's decrease. Blended learning also has the potential to decrease. This time it's gonna be Elias, Austria. Okay, toppling down Akbarov earlier. All right, that's how it is. Blended learning yielded positive results from the community, and that's our question number 8. We have two options. Is it online or offline? All right, in just a few seconds, Slido will reveal the correct answer. And the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is what? What do you think, guys? It's online. That's option number 1. And I'm so happy that majority of you guys got the correct answer. Congratulations again. Still Elias A. Austria this time with a perfect score and spent 34 seconds as compared to the second one, which is Carlo P. Malabanan. All right. Okay, so second to the last question, it says the advantages of blended learning are dependent on the blank of the programs being implemented. Is it quality, guys, or quantity? Slido, please show us the correct answer. It's quality, all right? And majority of you guys got the correct answer. So, clap, clap, clap for that. This time, it's going to be Carlo P. Malabanan toppling down our top scorer earlier, okay, with 46 seconds spent on submitting the answer. Our last question, rather, okay, blended learning is also one of the most effective ways for blind learning at scale. Is that personalized or generalized? Personalized or generalized? All right. So we are now waiting for the result of the answer, and the correct answer is personalized. Okay, and I'm so glad majority of you guys, 62% of you got the correct answer. So that's the end of our online quiz game competition, and let's find out who is our winner for tonight or today. Congratulations to Carlo P. Malabanan for topping the score for tonight's online quiz game competition, followed by Mary Rose Armauro. All right. And then we've got Marilo Depa on the third spot. And then fourth spot, we've got Jeffrey A. Salem. All right. Followed by Firuz Akbarov on the fifth list. And then on the sixth spot, we have Elias A. Austria. All right. On the number 7 spot, we have Ana Marie Joy A. Mercado. And on number 8 spot, we have Richard Ardenio. Number 9 is Christina V. There you go. So just check your name. Okay, if you have your name on it. Okay. Number 10 is May Dacpin Olavedes. Number 9 is Cristina V. Del Rosario. All right. So that's for our lucky top 10 players who were able to make it for tonight's online quiz game competition. Again, congratulations for doing a good job, folks. All right. All right. So we're done with the online quiz game competition. By the way, you can still claim your certificate for this particular game. Make sure that you keep in touch with us always as we will give you the announcement when our website is finally restored on its normal state so that you can download and we can give you your certificate, all right, for this particular online quiz game competition for today or for tonight. All right, again, please bear with us, but the fact is we are still undergoing a website maintenance, as I call it. All right, so your patience is really appreciated, guys. So this time, ladies and gentlemen, all right, we are now about to proceed to our question and answer portion. So I have to remind everyone to please prepare your question, type it in the comment section below, because in just a few seconds, all right, we're about to begin with our the question and answer portion. Again, just all right, so we're back to take some questions posed by our live audience just earlier, and then we have to bring them up on the screen so that we can read, and then our speaker can respond immediately. All right, so are you ready, Ma'am Ray? Okay, we have the first question on the screen. It's from Feruz Akbarov. The question is, MOOCs have shown us how an asynchronous learning may look without a real-time instructor. Can such courses foster student autonomy in digital non-native students without a facilitator? This is MOOC's thing.
Yes, because I have already discussed that asynchronous learning mode includes any student's personal mode of learning. That means they can learn at any time from any place. So, any non native student, if they want to attend from lectures or learning modules from other countries, so at their own pace, they can always attend that. And it's not always the facilitator is required, because there are some learning modules where the chapter is explained through various other modes, like videos, recorded videos are there, then particular notes are there. So there is not always the face to face facilitator or teacher or instructor is required. So, in this way, asynchronous mode of learning enhances our students' mm, confidence and achievement as well, because they need to thoroughly research about that topic, get to know the details through this online mode, and somehow this facilitates his learning process. So it's not always necessary to have a facilitator to guide him. He tries to solve the problems all by his or her own way. So in this way, ultimately, the student is beneficial, because the confidence, independence, critical thinking, all these modes gradually increases in the student's mind.
All right. Thank you for that very informative answer. And as far as I'm concerned, I think MOOCs is very much the same with the virtual university that you have just discussed, wherein the mode of learning is somewhat like self-paced among students. Okay, I'm not sure. Anyway, we've got another question from Manolita Ramos or Ramas Oligo. The question is, as a teacher, what are your reflections on blended pedagogy with regards to the role of teachers and students? Second is teaching learning process and the use of technology versus the use of strategies and models. I hope you can
I feel that all these
contextualize.
are correlated, because now that we are using blended mode of learning, so basically in most of the schools the flipped learning methods are mostly used. So in this way, when the student, the teachers deliver, like I can give example of my own school, where we pre-record the presentation of any chapter by the teacher, and which were sent to the students. Students observe that presentation, and next class, that is how the flipped mode of classroom is running out. Next class, they can discuss about whichever topic they lagging behind, or they need more clarification. So this way, I think learning has shaped in a different way using technology, because earlier only the discussion was in the class and other activities students used to do at home. But this way, when in the classroom, in particularly in flipped classroom mode, when the students are coming to the class, they already have an idea about the topic, so they
Yes.
can express their views, because today's students are smarter, so they can think, sometimes they can give inputs, ideas, that the teacher can model, or strategies, I mean, change the strategies accordingly, how the discussion is going on in the class, how there are collaborative methods where groups are being given to the students, where two three students can discuss about an idea and come out with a solution. Sometimes what happens, teacher now strategies in different way. Teachers throws the question or gives the problems to the students and want to see, yeah, how the students are coming up with the solution, and later on teacher facilitates that, gives support and guide, or provide extra resources for that. So these way we can use technology in various modes. It, apart from that, we use technology showing the, because the topic has been discussed earlier, or the students know about the topic, there are much timing that are available in classes when students are attending the classes. So that time teachers can strategically utilize with various types of activities, showing various types of videos for other resources or for extra knowledge. So that is how all these are actually combined mode. So accordingly, the lesson plans or strategies and the modes of and the tools should be utilized by the teachers, is showing how the progress is going on. And if the teacher notices that a particular area, certain students are lagging behind because the discussion entirely is in the class, so they can individually guide those students through online mode. For that, we have separate groups of students, like in WhatsApp group or class-wise group, where individually that student can be um, provided extra material. So that is how total learning system is running on, and the individual growth of the student is also being considered this way.
All right, very well said, Mom Ray. Thank you for answering the question, though it's a bit complicated question. All right. Okay, so do we've got another question from our live audience? All right, so this time it's from Shiroy Yangshan. I hope I got your name pronounced well. The question is, how do we make this blended learning more effective in boarding school? Are you getting the
Yeah.
point, Ma'am Ray? In
Yes.
boarding
In
school.
boarding
Yes.
school, basically students stay in the school premise only.
All
So
right.
these way, the same models we can utilize for their learning process, and basically we can engage those students to find out the more practical oriented or their real life oriented solution of any given topic. We can involve them in delivering some presentations, because in boarding school generally what happens that in the evening, the all the students that are staying in the school, they attend some form of classes. So that is another mode of classroom face to face training, but we can change the process by involving the students to deliver the presentation of their own. So they can prepare an online presentation and they can deliver that in the special classes that they are attending in the evening. Because in the regular classes with other students, or sometimes what happens is all the students are staying there, so when there is the timing for regular classes in daytime, they are attending somewhat discussing the topics and all, and for evening classes they can have the presentation by all by
Yes.
themselves, or some other activities that can be done in the evening classes, that is related to the same topic that has been discussed in the morning classes. So that is how the total procedure can be enhanced, according to me.
Yes, precisely, Ma'am Ray. All right. Thank you again for answering that question from our live audience. All right. So, do we have more? Here we go. This time is from Alan Maglantay. The question is, can this or can blended learning pedagogy, okay, can this blended learning pedagogy in the new normal education even after this pandemic? And how this affect academic performance of learners in an economically disadvantageous sectors? So let's contextualize the. I think it has two
Yes, it is.
questions
It
presented.
will be. Yes, yes. It has.
You
I have
yeah.
already discussed about that. That in future, this will be one a type of new normal education system, where the
Yes,
both traditional and blended learning modes will be applicable. And in an economically disadvantageous sectors, that is how I have also discussed how can we implement or the best practices, how we can deliver it. Because when
yes,
they are economically disadvantageous, sometimes the network issues are there in remote areas,
yes,
they do not
yes,
get proper network. So in that case, I have already discussed the present pre-recorded presentation can be uh, supplied to the students. In that case, if the blended learning modes to be applied. Sometimes what happens, the service provider, they arrange special, I mean, for this, if there are two, three organizations jointly approach to the service providers, they can arrange some special platforms to deliver the their service in that particular area, especially in backward classes where the economically disadvantaged people are living. So like we
Yes.
can find out community system is there, community television system is there, community learning system is there, radio system is there where the children can learn new topics through auditory mode. So there are
Yes.
various options available these days, which if can be properly implemented, the economically disadvantaged section also can be beneficial from that.
Yes. Yes, and what we must understand that is that with the emergence of pandemic that is unprecedented, we're not only dealing with health crisis, we're also dealing with financial crisis and economic crisis and something of that sort. All right. Again, from Manolita Ramas Olego, the question is: any opinion on the usage of content curation to complement blended learning pedagogy? Content
Yeah, that is what
curation.
I have discussed. The content.
Yes.
Content should be the quality of the content should be according to the community where I am delivering. So we should look into that first. Ki the people whom we are delivering their standard. How is their standard? How much they already know and what I am supposed to give them extra. So accordingly, first we have to do a lot of research about where the location of the blended learning pedagogy we are delivering. So accordingly,
Yes.
we have to strategize the content. It's not that whatever in trend we will be applying everywhere
Yes.
according to the need of that particular organization or group of students, because there are different level of students are there. So
Yes.
if they require high order thinking, they are in that category. We can deliver them extra, many more extra knowledge. But where we can find that those students need the basic clearance, basic concept clearance first, so we accordingly we will uh, form the content and personal. That is why the advantage of blended learning is personalized content for group of students. So whichever level they require, we will personalize that content and deliver to them, where grade level 1 is required, where high HOD, high order thinking levels are required, or where medium general categories are required. So we need to think about, we need to collect the data and analyze it, and accordingly separate group of content should be prepared and delivered to the students accordingly.
Yes. With different individual learning styles. I think this is quite challenging on the part of the teacher. All right. All right. Again, from Manolita Ramas Olego. Okay. The question, I think this is her question number two. Do you have examples where blended learning pedagogy can be adapted to meet the personalized needs of teachers to learn new strategies for improving students' learning?
Yes, the
Or,
teachers, because it has the teachers, she's talking about how the teachers can develop themselves.
okay,
So,
or most
various
probably,
online tools are available. I
yes,
think that is what the how the teachers can develop themselves. So, for that,
yes,
various online tools are available and course materials are available. Especially, I have talked about the virtual universities. So now these virtual course contents are available, which are particularly framed for the teaching community. So if you
Yes.
search internet, I cannot particularly name the courses. So
Yes.
because cannot name the universities also, but in online mode, various such kind of teaching modules are available, where even the framed lesson plans are also there, which I personally use to develop my knowledge and my teacher's knowledge. But this is an open platform, so I cannot name particularly those websites and all. But anybody can
Yes.
search in internet. These particular tools for teachers community is absolutely available, and regular. The teachers need to do regular research and upgradation for that, and that is how they can develop themselves according to the need of the situation, I think.
Yes. And speaking of adopting a certain blended pedagogy is actually is not a question of which one is best to use, which one to adapt. It depends on. I mean, it's going to be a
The
case to case
situation or the
basis.
need, yes, the
Yes.
requirement, everything. There are
And
various tools available online these
yes,
days.
and it also great.
Even teachers can do SWOT analysis to measure where they are lacking behind and which area they need to develop. So these
Okay,
tools are
that
also
yes.
available.
Okay, so once you have actually chosen one specific modality that is going to be effective in your classroom or in your locality, and that's where you can have it personalized. All right,
Yes,
that's greatly depend on the teacher on a case to case basis. As the saying goes, what's I forgot it. One size does not fit all. All right,
yes.
you can use one
Even
modality
class to
in
class
a
varies.
certain situation.
Yes, the
Yes,
models may varies for class to class also. In one class, we can
yes,
find the group of students are very meritorious, so we can apply one model. And similar, we cannot apply for other classes where we can find various students from various backgrounds are attending, and their level of maturity is different. So it's all a teacher
precisely.
needs to.
All right, so I think we have covered all those questions submitted by our live audience. And on behalf of the Institute of Global Professionals, we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude and appreciation to our lone speaker for tonight, Ma'am Shanole Ray, for taking time off of her busy schedule and join us tonight. Again, thank you so much, Ma'am Shanole Ray. All right.
Thank you.
Uh,
It is a great
yes,
experience for me to coming into this platform for the first time.
Yes, it's a pleasure. And your certificate of appreciation will be forwarded to you by the IGP through your WhatsApp account. All right? All right. So that's it for tonight, everyone. We appreciate everyone for being here. And we would also like to thank everyone, especially our live audience, for making this webinar possible, okay, owing to your active participation. We remain grateful to our live audience for the unwavering attention to which you sat through this webinar. And we're so confident that you've learned a lot from this webinar tonight. Again, on behalf of IGP and our speaker, thank you for attending tonight's webinar and have a great rest of your day and night. I am Gafur in Panimbang saying, keep continue learning and see you in the next series. Thank you again. God bless us all.